Hi, this is Nikki, and I'm here to share the messages that I get from Spirit and from all of our higher selves that are helping on this journey to unconditional love. And so what I want to share today is a story that somebody has sent me. And it is I did a letter for her. I've been saying that recently I've been guided to do divine love letters and channel letters from your twins to say what message do they want to give you now. And I did a letter for a lady a few days ago. Anyway, she came back to me, and she has posted this on the House of Idem's I don't know, Facebook or post or something. So I'm going to share what she's read, because I'm sure lots of you are probably part of that group, that House of Idem's group. So the letter that her divine counterpart said to her was, "You are the one that I want to grow old with, the one that I want to be with when we are sharing stories of our lives together, sitting by an open fire, doing life together and just being together. I've never felt like this before about anyone, and that's how I know that you're the one. You're different. You complete me in ways I didn't even know needed completing. I want to do all my adventures with you. My soul is yearning to be in your arms, to feel our bodies wrapped around each other, to feel the eternal flame of desire ignite between us, to feel real passion, to be deliriously in love with no fear, no doubt, no questioning. That's what I want, no doubt. I want to give you all of me every day, forever." So that was the letter that he wanted to tell her. So what I do is I channel the letters and I write them down, and then I send you a picture of the letter. So when you get it, you get basically a picture of the letter like that. So that was the letter. Again, very very similar. Well, not similar, but all of this about they're wanting to be able to come forward and say how they feel, but there is elements of doubt that are creeping in, which is why you must always, always, always stay in your heart, because it just shows how much they feel. If you're feeling doubt and fear, then you fuel each other. So she has sent me an email back, this lady. I received it at 3 in the morning at 3:43. Now 3 divine energy, 43 is actually my twin flame number. So she says, "Nikki, I love you. Thank you ever so much from the bottom of my heart and soul. We love sitting around a campfire talking in my yard, and you were spot on with the doubt. It's just perfect. You could see him resonate when I took the conversation there. And sorry it has taken me this long to get back to you because of a huge chain of miraculous events that I so want to share with you. I just made this post for the members of House of Idem's. I'm not sure if you're a member or not, but I wanted to copy for you the message I just posted. Forgive me if it's long, but I hope you enjoy my words." So I'm going to share what she's written. So stick with me because it is long. So, divine gods and goddesses, I come bearing hopefully huge inspiration for you all. I don't think much explanation is needed amongst us when it comes to the separation period being endured by the divine feminine and divine masculine since the eclipse. My shake-up started with the opening of the Lion's Gate, where my twin and I had our annual 8/8 meltdown, only to come back together stronger again, to be blown apart by the eclipse. For me, this showed up when my twin accidentally left his phone at my house. He had missed my birthday day, making an effort the following day to come and see me. Not having finances enough, due to the universe removing his job, to spoil me, was waiting on a payout. This arrived, but somehow my birthday was still pushed back from the 16th to the 21st, as he had to return home, before coming back to me to do so. My spidey senses that had been picking up that it had to do with a friend of his messaging his phone on this day, and he had been on my radar as a karmic for the last 18 months. As they communicated, it affected me so strongly that I could not even be physically beside him, and that was so foreign to me. So long story short, I was right. I got triggered and had to get to the bottom of it. I tried driving after him to give him his phone as soon as he had left, but with no luck. finding him in the roads, returned home knowing that the universe had done this for the eclipse. I had to sit with that for a bit, then in a way guided, yet totally out of character and with no integrity whatsoever, albeit justified in my head as he had done it to me years ago. I looked for evidence and found it. I messaged the guy, but we know how being not cool, but we know how being with a twin rolls. I stood my ground, got super angry from the remaining shadow parts of my soul, and then someone has somehow had it all turned on me, when all I wanted was to have a birthday dinner and go skiing with my family. Mind you, I would have had this had I not taken the actions I did, but ultimately the unspoken things that really weren't as huge as I had assumed once the truth came out had to be brought to the surface for illumination. My soul knew that this was for the best. The words and intentions that were being misheard and misconstrued by both of us had got so huge and out of control. You could see the words coming out of our mouths getting twisted between us, and then landing on the other wrapped up in filters and fear. There was also the misunderstood purgings of my divine masculine and his dark night of the soul. It all had to implode to be untangled, and thinking of coining the phrase quantum detanglement. So again, to cut it shorter, as I'm happy to answer questions and trying to respect the privacy of my DM, but trying to share openly to benefit all of you as a collective. After harsher conversations, and then vulnerable conversations, present by phone or at FB, then ghosting, intense fears, purging the final bits from every corner of my soul, signs, synchronicities, sudden loss of friends, countless hours of YouTube vids, from the amazing, brave, non-camera shy, articulate, beautiful souls out there, hermiting, wanting to die, knowing he did too, knowing we couldn't, and having to face the pain, being blocked on FB and learning how to live on my own 2 feet again solo and letting him do the same. Our Mexican standoff, as I like to call our separation phases, was resolved. Now, this is where I want to point out how much the universe and our guides are involved. His phone, I had it for a total of 4.5 weeks, from the eclipse to the new moon. I was expecting after the new moon was the 7th time he had told me he was coming to get it. Now, prior to this, we communicate to each other a lot during songs. I was getting songs in my head also as we do, and our number syncs. But in the days leading up to this, everywhere was 1144. I see this as having huge significance to the 144,000. Our communication on the new moon started delicately on FB Messenger, both assuming the other was still very angry. I stated up front that I wasn't, and when he arrived to get his phone, I would be waving a white flag. Within minutes, we were running our familiar, hilarious in-jokes we have worked on for years. Then went straight into a very saucy conversation that indicated if neither of us took a cold shower when he arrived, our day might in fact go completely opposite way to that of our egos had intended. And it did. I want to add here that I had done a light language activation the night prior, and I had also been talking to Nikki from Divine Love Crystal Grid and purchased one of her love letter readings, which I received right before he walked through the door, and was perfect to have in my head and heart as we break through our barriers. Also, I had received an email from a snowboarding company, and in the heading stated, "Union has landed." I sent this to Nikki right before, and she sent me that email just as I was just about to do her letter. And so I received it just as I was starting her letter, and it had on it, "Union has landed." So my twin and I talked a little and then passionately consummated our connection, and what was meant to be a few hours worth of visit to collect his phone and belongings turned into a 24 hours of visit. Not a lot of sleep, and ironically saw him leaving more stuff here so he can return on the weekend. We are not boyfriend and girlfriend again yet. We have been in a 3.5-year long distance relationship where he would spend 3 to 4 weeks at my house, giving the karmic energies portals and alignments. But he is not giving up. He is realizing he needs to be more forgiving like I am, but he honestly does not know what is going on for him right now, and has calmly asked to be allowed to think deeply about it so he makes the right choice. I am humbly honouring this, and he can see this. I spoke from my heart and from my truth, but for the first time in a long time to him and not at him. We got to the bottom of everything and cleared it out. I didn't get triggered, and can I say alleluia to that? And the biggest gift we have been given is the clearing. The majestic space of relearning each other without the masks, the illusions, assumptions and misunderstandings. And it is true freedom. We are finding our way back home to each other as fresh souls in an ego-free place. It is quite profound and very touching. But I am still crying, all of his tears still, and only in his presence. It is bizarre. I even walked on the door yesterday after he left, prepared my mouth to do the let it all out ball, and there was absolutely nothing there, besides one huge release of every tear I had left in me under the shower, because a hospitalized, drug-induced coma would have been the only thing to stop my heart hurting. I didn't need to cry, but I would cry from start to finish in his presence over the phone and while he was there. All because he's been too stubborn and masculine to do it himself. And it's so great for the ego to have rivers of a ruined makeup job floating down your face and sexy red puffy eyes. But I'm vulnerable. I wear my heart on my sleeve and I keep it real. So I'm honoured to cry his tears and ease his pain, because I can see that he is not shirking on his responsibility.